Hello, Dr. Cheswick. I have my first checkup with you tomorrow after my successful 6-month trial with Ocrevus, and I've had no flare-ups. And on my latest MRI, I have no changes in my brain lesions. And so I'm an MS success story, I suppose. That's what I am. And I know I told you, I don't know, 9 months ago when we met, that I was going to make notes every night, and I would track my symptoms that way, and I haven't made notes once. And I apologize for that, but I know that really I felt so bad when it started, because before I started with the Ocrevus, it just seemed hopeless. It seemed like my life was just shit, and it was going to be shit for a little while, and then I was going to be dead. And I couldn't get excited about documenting that. And I'm not super excited about documenting it now, even though I don't think I could be much happier with how Ocrevus has done for my my inflammation in my cerebrospinal fluid. I don't seem to have any of those effects now. And you know, I'm not thinking that I'm gonna die in a few years. I'm not thinking that I'm gonna be, you know, crapping myself in a wheelchair in 2 years. I'm not thinking any of those pessimistic thoughts, those extremely pessimistic thoughts I was thinking nine months ago when we met. But I am still keeping my own diary in my head of symptoms, and every couple of weeks I have a new type of symptom to think about. And my stomach has started cramping sometimes when I get I don't know, hot, and maybe some combination of that with eating. I don't know, but it feels like I'm trying to vomit, but I can't. I'm just like, it's like the dry heaves, except I might have a stomach full of pizza, but it's just it's like nothing I've ever experienced before. And I think that started about 2 months ago. And gradually, over the past month, I have felt these ticks coming on in my face that are really tiny little twitches. And I think someone would have to be staring right at a particular part of my lip when it happened to see it happen. But it's just a threat, you know. It's a teaser of what's to come, and I don't like it. I'm vain in some ways, and I'm very social, and I don't want to be somebody who's hideous to look at. I don't want to have my face covered in spasms. And if it's gone as far as it's gone in 6 weeks, where is it going to be in 6 months? You know, where am I going to be in 6 years? Not hanging out in a coffee shop, you know. It just sounds like a bunch of humiliation. And and I've had a lot of humiliation in my life in the past year, and I don't want any more of it. But part of what I have, it's just going to keep going. I understand that. It's just going to keep going. And so, I guess, I don't know, could we call depression one of my symptoms? I don't think we can, really, because sometimes, like, I don't think I'm depressed. There's something shitty happening to me. And I don't feel happy about that. I'm depressed about that, I guess. I don't know, but I don't feel like I need a medication. Medication's not going to make me feel better. Maybe, I don't know, meth would make me feel better, but that might not be a very good long-term plan either. MS is not a very good long-term plan, though. That's what I'll say. It's shitty as a retirement plan. It's just a terrible plan for retirement. And I'm out here on the Alloy Canal, which is where I wanted to grow old. It's been my dream home for like 20 years. And I moved here 2 years ago, finally. And now it's too hot for me. Hawaii is too hot for me. It's winter, and Hawaii is too hot for me. It is 2:17 in the morning. I'm going to see you in about 11 hours, 10 and a half hours. You know, we'll be happy that I haven't had any flare-ups. And we'll be happy that my MRI doesn't show any new lesions. But I have new symptoms, and I've got the best I can get from the only medicine that I can have, and it's not good enough to make me like look at my life and say, I can do that. That's a compromise I can make. There's just too much humiliation. Yeah, I don't want you to think that I'm going to kill myself tonight. That's not going to happen. I've got stuff to do before that could be a thing I could do. And so I realized that at 2 o'clock in the morning it's dark and lonely out here, and it seems kind of dreary, and it is dreary. It fucking sucks. It fucking sucks. I don't know how you pick this job to take care of people who are on a one-way path to falling apart before they die. I don't know, you know, when I try to get positive about it, and I do try to get positive about it because I try to get positive about everything, I think, okay, well, I can't be killed now because I've already been killed, so I can do whatever the fuck I want to. That's, you know, it's had a few nice moments to it. And I'm not gonna lie, those were some good moments, you know, like, just fuck it, I'm gonna do this thing. Great moments, spontaneous, stupid things. I did a thing that I've always heard that my father did when he was a lot younger, that my mother told me that they would sometimes go to the beach. I never once went to the beach with my father, but my mother told me that the older siblings of mine, much older, would go to the beach with my father, and my father would go for a swim, and he would swim straight out, and he would just disappear from sight, and then he would, about half an hour later, they would see him swim back in, and everything was fine. That's what going for a swim was for him. And I've wondered, like, that's a fun memory that my mom got a laugh out of when she told me about it. And she worshipped him so much, I could imagine that happened one time, and all of a sudden that's, over the years become what he just did when he went to the beach, or maybe that's the only time he went to the beach, I don't know. But I was walking my 7-pound dog that's full of hate on Waikiki, and it was before sunrise, and there were people there to see the sunrise, which is funny because you can't see the sunrise from Waikiki. It's fitting. But there are nice colors in the sky. The sun rises over the mountains, and from, kind of, I don't know, north of Diamond Head, and there were a lot of people on the beach waiting for the sun to rise, and I stood there and watched the sunrise with them, and just, I don't know, stood there for a while, watched the deeper colors lighten to dawn, and a few people paddled out. I guess it was a good surfing day. I know it was a good surfing day because what happened next, there's a Japanese woman standing next to me, and I took my phone and my wallet out of my pocket, and I handed them to her, and I took off my shoes and my socks and put them in my shoes. I handed her my glasses, and I took off my shirt and put it on top of my shoes, and then I handed her the leash to my dog, and then I just swam straight out. And I haven't challenged myself with swimming in quite a long time, and I think I was asking myself if I wanted to live this life. And I swam out until I was really winded, and at that point I was well beyond where the lineup of surfers had set up, and there weren't that many people out, just a few, and I was treading water way out, and it was really nice to watch the breakers from the back. It was a different experience of a wave. It's a more solemn way to watch the waves come in. It felt more spiritual. I know that it should be the other way around. Looking out at the ocean, there's just the infinite ocean behind the waves, but the waves are simpler from behind, and I was focused on them, and I was just treading water, which, the water's warm. It's pretty easy to tread water without huge waves or current, and so I was resting, watching, and I enjoyed it. And I don't know if I was asking myself if I wanted to live that life, but I did I did definitely decide that I wanted to do some things, that I'm not ready to die. And I swam back in and got all my stuff and my dog from the Japanese woman and thanked her. And we walked back home. And I didn't tell anybody at home about it for a couple of weeks, but then I thought it was a cool story, and I had maybe sort of digested it and put a happy slant on it. No, it is not a practice run for a suicide. It is a swim out into the ocean to see what it was like to swim straight out into the ocean, until I got tired, and then just kind of float there for a while and then swim back. That's what it was. And I am going to be happy. I mean, when I first met you, I was in such bad shape. And I couldn't imagine living another 6 months in the midst of that flare-up. I couldn't imagine it. Like, I'm not saying the MS was going to kill me, but I wasn't going to be able to survive it. And now I could see, 10 years in the right climate, 10 years without without my life falling apart. I could see that. But I don't know. I mean, what indignities does this thing have for me, right? Like how many ways can the flesh be mortified? And who knows which will be chosen for me. I am gonna follow up on those leads that you gave me for clinical trials. I do want to try a medicine that might possibly stop the smoldering degradation of my brain. And I think that's, why wouldn't I do that? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to pursue that. And I'm going to find other things to do that are good. And if my face is going to be a quivering surface of humiliation in 18 months, then I'm going to do what I can to enjoy the next 6 of it. Or maybe 12. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to post this. It was my intention to post these as these notes. I promise they're going to be shorter. Who am I kidding? You're not paying attention anymore. You're not still here. I'm talking to myself. There's no harm in talking, I guess. It's just another humiliating thing, though, really. Right? Talking to my phone about my symptoms. All right. I'm gonna go have a hot shower. Hot showers always put me to sleep. Night.